It's a storyline few could write in high school football. A former player turned coach leads his alma mater to the state title game. That's what Robin Rosemeyer has done for Gilman. The Pirates are now ready for Pacelli High School at Stevens Point. The Cardinals come in hoping to add its first WIAA championship to its trophy case. The game is next on FSN North.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, and we are ready for the WIAA State High School Football Championships. We begin in Division 7, Stevens Point, Pacelli, and Gilman. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Camp Randall Stadium along with Jamie Vanderbilt. I'm Craig Kashan. Great to have you with us. It is a frigid morning to get things going. 13 degrees right now. Snow on the ground. Jamie, how is this going to affect these teams that really had quite a warm fall to play football?
Yeah, well, even as of Saturday, the semifinal games, it was 50-some-odd degrees for these guys. It's 13 at kickoff this morning, so it's definitely going to change the way these guys play. Yeah. They're going to have to play hard and stay warm.
So we go from tornado warnings last weekend now to snow and cold weather, so we'll see how it affects them. Let's see how they got to the road now to state. They battled through that crazy weather last weekend, but Gilman was able to defeat Alma. Pacelli stopped Belmont, so these two teams now will meet in this morning's championship game. And let's take a look individually at a couple of matchups, starting with Gilman. Cody, Zach, Jamie, doing it from both sides of the football.
Yeah, Cody leads this team definitely on both sides of the ball. He's the leading tackler on defense with 147 tackles, and on offense, he's the second leading rusher with almost a 6-yard per carry average.
For Pacelli, it's Jacob Porter, and what a job he has done. Look at those sack totals. They've actually risen through the playoffs.
Yeah, Saturday in the semifinal game, he added 3 more to that for the state lead of 25 sacks this season. He and his younger brother, Matt, lead this defense on the defensive line.
Well, there is snow that was removed off the playing surface. It's a good surface, though, here at Camp Randall. We'll get this one going in just a moment.
The WIAA High School Championships on FSN North is presented by the Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board and Wisconsin's dairy producers. By Rural Insurance Company, providing a full line of insurance products for Wisconsin's families and businesses. And by Cenex, CHS, resources for enriching lives. Back at Camp Randall Stadium, ready for a cold start. Let's check in with the third member of our broadcasting crew, Bob Brainerd, on the field. Bobby.
Thank you, Craig. Time now for our Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board matchup. First of all, the Gilman Pirates. They come out of the small Cloverbelt Conference with a record of 7-2 in the conference, where they finished in second place to Eau Claire Regis. It's the Pirates' second trip to state. The only other time they made it, they won it back in '86 with their head coach, Robin Rosemeyer, playing wingback and defensive back. Pacelli Cardinals are from the Central Wisconsin Large Division. They finished in second place behind WIAA Fremont. Record of 5-3 overall, 5-2 in conference. First ever WIAA trip to state. The Cards did win WISA titles twice and were runners-up 5 times, all under head coach Bob Ratzik, who's going for win number 300 at Pacelli, guys.
All right, Bob, thanks very much. And you're bundled up. I know you'll stay warm down there today, and we'll check in with you in just a little bit and throughout the day here. Eric Fix took the opening kickoff, and Pacelli's got the ball first and 10 at their 35-yard line. And the quarterback, Ryan Rush, he hands to Scott Herzog, who carries first, and a good gainer of about 7 yards. So Stevens Point Pacelli off to a good start here in the Division 7 state championship game. Let's take a look at some of those starters. It's Herzog, Reardon, Fix, Disher, and Hinner in that backfield on that offense for Stevens Point Pacelli. And they face second down now and short. First man through, maybe a yard. And the carry there to Luke Reardon. And so Stevens Point, Pacelli, and Gilman underway here in the championship, and you got to put up the defensive signs out there in the Camp Randall stands, and just about everyone from the communities have come down from Gilman and Stevens Point to root on their teams, as always here at Camp Randall Stadium. Third down and short. The give this time is to Herzog. He tries to turn the corner. It looks like he got just enough for the first down to keep the drive going. And that gives us time to take a look at the Gilman defense, led up there by Mark Olenichik. And you take a look at the backers. We talked about Zach and his buddy back. That's good for the backers. Rosemeyer, Doro. Got all the right names at Gilman for the championship game here. First down and 10. Again to the ground. Goes Pacelli. And up near midfield. And this time carrying the football, Herzog again. And he's tackled by Matt Bach.
Well, I think you're getting a taste of what Pacelli wants to do today. They want to run the ball. You're going to get a steady diet of that. They've ran it outside. They've ran it up the middle. And now on the second down and long, they're just trying to get their guys warming into this game.
Second down, about 6. This time rush back to pass. Looks over the middle. And perhaps that cold weather a factor there on Andy Disher as he dropped that football.
Yeah, I think you're going to see some of this, especially early in the games. The ball gets a lot harder when it gets cold out there. Nice protection up front. He's wide open. That hits him right in the cookie basket. That's definitely a play he should have made. But when your hands get cold, that ball gets a little harder. It's not as easy as it is when it's 65, 70 degrees out.
That cookie basket, more like frozen cookie dough to start out. Third down now and about 6. Herzog gets the call, and he will be short of the first down. And so Stevens Point's defense, with the help from a drop pass, forces Pacelli in now to 4th down.
Decent job up front. He's got a lead blocker. But excellent play by number 65, Clayton Scarborough, one of the senior captains on the Gilman Pirate team, shedding a block and going down the line of scrimmage to make the tackle.
Brad Booty puts this punt in the air, and it's going to take a nice Pacelli bounce inside the 10, still rolling on that frozen turf, and then down about the 7-yard line. So that's where Gilman will take over in their first offensive series when we come back to Camp Randall Stadium here in the Division 7 championship. Gilman's ready to take over on offense, their first offensive series here. A first down from their own 7-yard line, so they're deep in their own territory to take over here on first down. And the quarterback, Andy Chahar, with the handoff just over the 10-yard line, and he gives it to Cody Zach, so he gets the first carry on offense for the Gilman Pirates, and he got about 3, maybe 4 yards. Gilman, of course, they're facing Pacelli and Rob Raychik, the head coach that Bob mentioned, longtime Pacelli head coach, looking for win number 300 here, and it would be a very select group, Jamie. Only 2 other coaches in the state of Wisconsin have 300 or more victories. And we'll have those to show you in a bit as well. One of them in the state tournament, in the state championship series here as well. Another carry, this time to Jacob Doro. And we talked to Robin Rosemeyer the other day, said, you know, this team has good team chemistry, about average size for a football team, and kind of prides itself on stopping the run. They believe they got a pretty good balanced attack. You saw some good passing numbers heading into this game as well.
Yeah, I think both these teams, you know, typically when you think of a Division 7 school, because they don't have the amount of students that some of the bigger schools have, they may not throw as much.
This time to pitch back to Doro, and it looks like he is stacked up just short of the first down.
Here's a look from behind. We call this the end zone view. Nice job of pursuit by the Cardinals, filling down the line of scrimmage, bringing up this 4th down.
And it's going to be 4th down and maybe a yard. And so Gilman now forced to punt.
Protect the snapper! Back to return, number 23, Scott.
And Joel Kalesa is there to do the punting for Gilman. High snap, pulls it down, and gets this one up near midfield. And a good opportunity for Herzog. He's still on his feet inside the 20. He's going to go and score the touchdown for Pacelli. So special teams comes into play early in the first quarter, and Pacelli on the board first. A 47-yard touchdown return.
two huge blocks on this return. First, he catches the ball, then he cuts it towards his bench. Call this a sideline return. He gets a block from number 61, Dan Lemancic. Dan takes out 3 of the Gilman players, and then he gets a huge block at the very end from number 26, Luke Reardon. Gets a nice deep-cleater block, throws his man off his feet, which frees him to the end zone.
So Brad Booty on now to attempt the extra point for Pacelli. High snap, kick on the way and good. So Stevens Point Pacelli gets on the board first and takes a 7-0 lead here in the opening quarter. Here's another look, Jamie. Set up the blocking.
Sideline return, there's one block, but watch this, 61. He takes out 3 guys right there and seals that edge. Then on the right side of your screen, you're going to see a block, or maybe just a body right there. Number 10, Jed Shemrai gets blocked, and that frees him up for the touchdown.
And how about this in Division 7? That's the longest punt return. And it goes for a touchdown at 47 yards in Division 7. That tops Matt Wolf of Eau Claire Regis back in 2002. It was only 12 yards at that point. Way to shatter the records.
You know, it's so hard. Special teams is such a key part of the game. Every 7th play in a football game, there's a special teams play. And a lot of people forget about that, but special teams can make or break a game. And in this case, they've certainly defined that so far.
You know, it's funny, when we were speaking with the coaches on Sunday night in the conference call that the WIAA sets up, I don't think there was one time with any of the 14 coaches that are in these 7 divisions that anybody even mentioned special teams, because a lot of times you forget about that in high school football as far as it really making an impact on the game. But look how it started this championship.
Well, you take it for granted because it's so rare that you get a return for a touchdown or a block kick. Something like that happens in special teams. But it is so important. A lot of people overlook it.
And so now Pacelli, after scoring the special teams touchdown on the kickoff, and a return up the middle, still on his feet, is Jacob Doro. And so Gilman had to start back at their 7-yard line in much better shape here. However, they trail on the scoreboard, as you see Robin Rosemeyer cheering on his team and his offense. We talked about his quarterback, Andy Chahar, and one of his backs, Cody Zach. And you take a look at that offensive line as well. Skay Brown leading the way across that front line. Starting lineups today brought to you by Cenex. First and 10 for Gilman. They'll have the ball at their own 34. So let's see what they can do with a little better breathing room. Pitch back to Doro. Still on his feet, trying to break tackles. A good gainer as he gets up near the 42-yard line.
Excellent job by Gilman right off the bat, getting on their blocks, sealing the edge. Cody Zach, we talked about him in the opening, he's the lead blocker on this play. Gets a nice kick-out block and allows Doro to cut it up and pick up 8 yards.
Second down and 2 for the Pirates. This time they give it to the big guy, Cody Zach, straight ahead. And it looks like he might be just a little bit shy of that first down. As we take a look at the Cenex starting lineups, defense for Stevens Point Pacelli. Jamie talked about the Porter brothers and the backers, and in that defensive back, you've heard the Herzog names already, and Booty as well.
The Porter brothers up front, they do a nice job. They're the 2 leading tacklers on this team. And you saw in that last play how they clog up the middle and allow guys to make plays for them.
Zach straight ahead. And you give it to your big guy. Just put your nose down, go forward, pick up the first down.
State championship game. It's the biggest game of all of these players' lives so far. And a lot of these kids won't be playing football past high school. I mean, they're going to sell out. You need a yard, I'm going to get it for you. And that's exactly what Cody Zach is thinking.
And it looks like the field's starting to thaw out as well with the brilliant sunshine here in what's turned out to be a very wintry state championship. Temperature again about 13 degrees to kick off the 2005 tournament, and stacked up in the backfield. Talk about that Pacelli defense right off the top. There is 61 Dan Lemenchek.
Excellent play. Here's the number 67 right there. That's Matt Porter. Does an excellent job of beating his block. They got a little stunt on, so defensive tackle takes a little angle and gets in between two offensive linemen, steps upfield and makes a nice tackle for loss.
And a loss of quite a bit back down to second down and 17. Another heavy rush. Where's the defense all of a sudden coming from?
Well, that was a screen pass, but I think the defensive line got there a little quicker than they were expecting them to. Watch Jahar drop back. Offensive lineman let the defensive line go, but there's also a blitzing linebacker coming from the edge. Actually, that's an unblocked defensive end in number 60, Kevin Kazmarek. Gets there a little quicker than Jahar was expecting.
So that ball getting pushed a little further back towards Lake Mendota. Third down and 17. Drops the football, and all Jahar can do is fall on it. And so after the loss and the incomplete pass, Gilman's offense is bettered by Pacelli's defense and forced again to punt now from their 35.
Watch Pacelli. I don't know if you can see him on the right side. They get off on the snap of the ball. You talk to defensive coaches, and they always want you to get off on the snap of the ball. They're doing an excellent job, and right now they're taking it to the Gilman offensive line.
Well, we talked about Coach Bob Raychek, his son Steve, the defensive coordinator here at Pacelli. And he says he has done an absolutely wonderful job. And obviously it's coming through here in the state championship. Pacelli will have the football when we come back, leading 7-0.
D7 game, Pacelli leading Gilman 7-0. Well, Bob Raychek has a pair of running backs who ran for over 1,000 yards, Luke Reardon and Scott Herzog. Herzog is the guy with the ball right now. He's also the gentleman who ran that punt back for a touchdown. And now in describing these two 1,000-yard rushers, guys, Coach Raychek said that neither of them has great speed, but they both hit the holes very well. I would say that Herzog showed exactly that in that punt return. He wasn't exactly flying into the end zone, but he certainly hit the holes.
Yeah, if you can get the blocking, the number one thing for a running back is to be patient and let your blockers create the holes for you. You saw what Herzog did on the punt return. I'm sure they'd like to do some more on offense.
Defense tightening up, and now to the air goes Pacelli. Herzog gets it on the screen. He could go, but he stumbles inside the 30-yard line. But what a gainer for Pacelli as they are well into Gilman territory. They'll mark the ball down at the 26-yard line, a gain of 46, Jamie.
Nice job up front, and he is wide open. He loses the linebacker across the middle. Herzog, I think he's just getting tired. He's put a few yards on already in this first quarter. And they catch him down on the 26-yard line. But excellent job up front by the offensive line for Pacelli, giving the quarterback time to throw the ball. Nice route.
You see that block by 17, Eric Fix, to help break open that run. First down, and it's Herzog again getting the call. Short gainer. There's Fix. He came through with a big-time block to help break open that run.
Yeah, Pacelli's doing an excellent job on both sides of the football right now, taking it to Gilman. Gilman's got to turn this around a little bit and get some momentum here and try and stop Pacelli here and get the ball back for their offense.
Second down 10, our first flag of the tournament flies in right along the line of scrimmage.
It's always a good place for a holding call.
Luke Reardon, number 26, with the carry.
Reardon had the carry, and it is going to be a holding against Stevens Point Pacelli.
Here's a replay. Let's see if we can get the hold. Well, I think they're going to call it on the center. He was one-on-one with the nose tackle, number 52, Jody Trewicki, and he tried to take him down on the ground.
At the 1-yard line.
That ball looked like it was overthrown for sure, but he hauls in the pigskin, and it's a 34-yard gainer.
Well, obviously, Herzog's been their big play guy. Here's the replay. Excellent job up front of protection, but watch Herzog. He runs all the way. Doesn't put his hands up until the last second. Makes an excellent catch. That's what they teach you when you're a receiver. Don't put your hands up until the very last second, because what you do is you slow yourself down at that point. Keep running as hard as you can, as long as you can.
First and goal at the 1. Herzog gets the call, and gets just to the line of scrimmage when he runs into that roadblock there set up by the Gilman Pirates. What a catch.
After every big play that Pacelli's had so far, Gilman comes back and does an excellent job on defense for one play. Then the very next play, they give up another big play. So let's see if they can make a goal line.
They can make a goal line stand.
Herzog again. Goal line stand is it there. He stretches for the end zone. And no indication of a touchdown mark, just short inside the 1-yard line.
Nice tough run trying to get to that end zone. You know, yards get tough to come by when you get in the goal line defense, and Herzog sheds off one tackler, actually fumbles the ball, but he ends up getting his hand right on top of it as he's stretching for that the goal line.
Jed Shemrai there to make the initial hit to stop his movement. Now on 3rd and goal, straight ahead this time, no denying. Pacelli getting into the end zone this time, Luke Reardon.
Pacelli's doing everything they want to do on offense.
Well, that was a tremendous offensive series. Had just enough on the run, but the 2 passes were spectacular. 2
huge pass plays, and we talked about how both these teams for a Division VII school like to throw the ball. And obviously, for the Cardinals, they've come out throwing with some big plays early.
Reardon with the 11 touchdowns during the regular season. Herzog at 18, and there are your 2,000-yard backs. And they have each scored a touchdown here in the championship to put Pacelli up 14-0.
First look at, there's a huge hole there. Excellent job by the right guard with the down block. You'll see him collapse the hole. The right tackle just gets a drive block, puts his man in the end zone, and it's an easy touchdown for Reardon.
First down and goal from the 1-yard line. How tough is that to stop 3 times in a row, though?
Well, it's tough to stop 3 times in a row. I don't care who you are. But it's also tough to get in there. You know, goal line defense, those defensive linemen tighten up, and now you got 6 guys down instead of 4 or 5. And the holes are tough to come by, but 3 times, 3's a charm.
So Rob Raychek has his Stevens Point Pacelli Cardinals up 14-0 here with 59 seconds to go in the first quarter. You know, we talked to him the other day, really felt his team is playing the best that they can right now. And with that non-conference schedule, says I try to set up the non-conference as much as I can against Division I and Division II opponents. And you really can't start prepping for the state tournament too early, can you? I mean, that's the opportunity to try to toughen up your club a little bit and show what they've got.
Well, you have to get to the playoffs, and if you're going to get to the playoffs, what's your goal from there? You want to win the state title. To do that, if you're a Division VII school and you're playing Division I and II schools, it's only going to make you a better player down the stretch. One thing you got to worry about then is keeping your guys healthy in that early part of the season.
Trevor Rosemeyer has to get that football regrouped inside the 5. Dancing around, no place to run, and he's brought down at the 10-yard line.
Trevor's got to know that going east and west doesn't work real well. You got to go north and south. And unfortunately, he drops the ball. But when you catch that ball, then get moving north and south. Don't want to run to the sidelines. You're not going to get anywhere on a kickoff.
Unless you have tremendous stop-start speed, there's nowhere to go.
And that's tough to come by. There's only a few guys that can do that, and they're getting paid for it on Sundays. There is a flag down on the play.
And we wait to see what the indication is here. It's likely against Gilman as they march them further back toward their own end zone. Back to the 5-yard line. So this will be the second time that Gilman has started inside their 10-yard line here in the first quarter. So special team scores a touchdown for Pacelli. On the flip side, Gilman can't get out of their own deep in their own territory.
No, and if I'm Andy Chahar, the quarterback for Gilman right now, I'm telling my guys in the huddle, just, hey, we've been here before, let's get tough. And there you go. You pick up 5 yards on first down. That's an excellent way to start a drive. You got to do something if you're Gilman's offense right now to keep your defense off the field, first of all, but also to get you back in this game and put some points on the board.
Gain of 4 yards.
So run straight ahead by Doro of about 4 yards, 2nd down and 6. Final 30 seconds of the opening quarter here at Camp Randall Stadium in Division 7 between Gilman and Stevens Point Pacelli. The Cardinals lead the Pirates 14-0. Doro gets the call again, and he is hauled down from behind and thrown back near the original line of scrimmage. And for Stevens Point Pacelli, Jacob Porter.
Yeah, you're seeing that we talked about Jacob in the opening. Watch him this time. Completely blocks or avoids the block from the offensive lineman. That's why leads the state with 25 sacks this year. He and his younger brother are doing a heck of a job up front.
All right, so that brings us to an end here in the first quarter. Pacelli leads Gilman 14-0. The WIAA High School Championships on FSN North is presented by Nike, brought to you by NikeGridiron.com, and by American Family, all your protection under one roof. Well, the sun is out. It's brilliant sunshine at Camp Randall Stadium. Something to warm up the temperatures here in the opening of the WIAA State Football Championship. This one nearly picked off up near the 30-yard line as Gilman opens up with a pass here in the second quarter.
You know, we talked about Pacelli's defensive line and how they're getting off the ball. Watch them slant through each way, avoiding the blocks. And when we talked to Coach Rychek on the teleconference, he talked about Jacob Porter's speed, and that allows him to get a lot of sacks and make a lot of tackles for loss behind the line of scrimmage. You're seeing that right away in this first quarter.
6'1", 215, and having a little speed certainly helps. Gilman forced a punt again, and Pacelli's going to come out of here with great field position. Herzog picks it up and returns it to the 30, fumbles the ball, and let's see who got it. Eric Fix there for the Cardinals, and he does recover to keep Pacelli possession of the football.
You know, if you're Gilman, you got to get that fumble. You got to recover that fumble. But everything's gone Pacelli's way so far. Let's see if we can see this ball pop out. Pops out right off the sprinter. He hits it, puts his hand right on it, knocks it out. Again, it's cold down there. The ball's harder. Got to grip it a little tougher. Your hands might be cold. They're not as strong as they usually are. Doesn't take a whole lot to get that ball popped out.
First down from the 30-yard line of Gilman for Pacelli. It's Herzog, and he just keeps those feet and legs turning forward, and he picks up about 6 yards. Not real big, but boy, he's effective, isn't he?
Yeah, and a lot of credit. Again, the defensive line for Pacelli is doing it on that side of the ball. The offensive line is doing a good job up front, too. They have time to throw the ball when they want to, and there's some big holes down there for those guys to run through. And you talk about a team wanting to run downhill. Well, that's because the field gets slanted when a team's got momentum, and right now Pacelli's got it.
This time back to pass. Rush looks into the end zone, and he's got his man. Touchdown, Stevens Point Pacelli. And this one goes to Eric Fix.
Again, great protection up front, giving them time to throw the ball. Good job by the offensive line. Nice play fake. And he just throws us right down the middle. It's man coverage. It's one-on-one, and Fix gets the best of him.
And now for the extra point after the whoop. A botched snap, and now Rush has to throw into the end zone. And he finds his man Herzog.
You know, even when they do something wrong, they do it right. I mean, they fumble the snap here on the extra point, and they're not able to get the field goal or the extra point, but they're able to fire, and put the point on anyway.
Pacelli on top of Gilman, 22-0. Perhaps the Cardinals are full. They had a big breakfast this morning before they left Stevens Point. A lot of the football mothers all got together, cooked a big breakfast of steak and eggs for the team before they left. And by the way, guys, to dispel any rumors that this is cushy once you get to Madison, Pacelli left Stevens Point at 5:45 this morning. No nice hotels. They just got on the bus and came right to Camp Randall. So far, so good.
There's something about getting in and getting out, isn't there? Thanks, Bob. And so Gilman will take over here in the second quarter from their own 30-yard line. Again, for this Gilman team to get back in this game, it has to start with field position and catching a break, but finally at their 30-yard line, they've been deep in their own territory a couple of times now.
Well, the story of the game is big plays right now, and right now Pacelli's got more of them. They got a special teams touchdown on a punt return, and they got 2 long pass plays for touchdowns. Excuse me, 1 long one, but another one that set up another touchdown on the ground. Gilman's got to get some of their own big plays and stop Pacelli from making big plays.
So the handoff to Cody Zach straight ahead. And they may have to play some power football and just take it right down the middle of that Pacelli defense and hope to break one.
Yeah, if I'm picking up 7 yards on the ground on first down, here's the replay with Zach taking the ball, and he just runs over number 75, Cody Warzala. I mean, just keep doing it. Do what works. You got to get some points on the board right now.
There's your first down run for Zach. And Gilman, a rare first down as they get up to their 45-yard line.
Steady diet right up the middle. Here's the replay. Nice job up front. You got a pulling guard with a little trap play. Cody does a good job protecting the football with 2 hands as he's getting into some traffic towards the end of that run. Keep doing it. You got to get your team some momentum. Keep your defense off the field. Give your offense some confidence.
That's only the second first down by Gilman in this game. And now a little bit of running room for Doro as he gets up to midfield. Another good gain of 5 yards. Just under 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
Number 34 for Pacelli does a great job, but watch this hole open up right here. I mean, you can drive a Mack truck through there. Excellent job by Gilman opening up that hole, and a really nice job by number 34, Ben Porter, in making that tackle at the end of the play, because if he doesn't, that turns into a big play.
Fumble. Does Pacelli have it? They say they do. We'll wait for the official word, and it is Pacelli football.
I don't know if that was a fumbled quarterback exchange or if the fumble occurred when he's trying to hand it off to the running back. Let's see if we can see it. He's got the ball. It's just not a clean handoff. And just when you think Gilman's trying to get something going and has something established, well, I'll tell you what, number 65, Jacob Porter, I think he got his left hand in on that.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was all over Jahar.
Again, using his speed and that defensive line slanting through these blocks and through these gaps. I think he did that by getting a hand on the ball.
That rush goes to the air. And this one is caught out of bounds by Eric Fix, so no connection there. So second down and 10 for Stevens Point. Didn't miss by much.
Out of bounds.
And they're still catching everything. Out of bounds, inbounds, doesn't matter. Throw it, I'll go get it. Fix has 1 touchdown. He's looking for another.
Second down and 10.
Everybody has joined in the wealth. Scoring. Herzog, Reardon, Fix for Pacelli. And they own a nice lead here in the first half of 22-0. Now they'll give to Reardon. And he takes it down to the 46-yard line of Gilman.
Nice job by the Pirates, gang tackling here. Looks like there's something early, and he picks up a few yards, but then once he's stopped, look at that, 5, 6 Pirates around the football making the play. Team tackling, gang tackling, however you want to call it. You need to do something to turn this around.
2 teams battling in the state championship game who finished second in their own conferences. So they have taken the long road to get to the state championship game. And a good run again straight ahead for Scott Herzog.
Herzog's had a big first half so far. Excellent job. They pull the left guard. He gets a nice kick out block. Then watch Herzog. He tries to cut this all the way back and ends up getting stopped in the middle. But excellent job by the offensive line opening up that hole, and a good job by Herzog seeing that hole and cutting it back in.
First down from the 35. This time Rush goes to the air, finds his receiver. They make the connection down near the 10-yard line. And it just keeps on rolling on. Andy Disher on the reception for Pacelli. And Gilman really no answers defensively at this point.
Now watch this replay. Rush gets a little bit of pressure late, but the back picks it up. He steps up, throws a great ball. He throws it before the receiver, Disher, even turns around to look for it. And right now, Pacelli's just playing at a different speed than Gilman. And I think that's the difference right now.
I think you're absolutely right. First down and 10 just outside the 10-yard line, and there's that Gilman defense stacking them up in that red zone.
You know, the other thing to remember is Pacelli, even though this is their first WIAA appearance, they were here a lot with the old WIAA. And Gilman hasn't been here since 1986.
7 appearances in the championship finals of WIAA, and Pacelli came out with 2 championships. Again on the carry, Herzog. Inside the 5-yard line.
You know, even though Pacelli's had all these big plays, they're still giving Gilman opportunities to kind of recapture some momentum, and it's just not happening. I mean, here at the end of the play, Herzog fumbles the ball, but there's no Pirate around to catch it or recover it. Just another heads-up play by Pacelli recovering that ball.
Bill Hinner gets it for Pacelli, and it's at the 3-yard line. 3rd down, and they can pick up a first down just inside the 1. Herzog to carry, tries to break outside, stretches for at least the first down, and he'll be marked shy of that at the 3-yard line.
Gilman does a nice job right up the middle. They get pressure up the middle, forces Herzog to kick it out to the left. And then another nice job by the Pirates stretching this out to the sideline and forcing him out of bounds. Jed Shemrai forces him out.
So 4th down for Stevens Point Pacelli. And it looks like Brad Booty on the field now to attempt the field goal. And they'll mark it at the 10-yard line. So it'll be a 20-yard attempt. He has to go from that left hash and just out of reach. Couldn't push it over far enough. 22-0 though. Pacelli still leads. Well, coming up after our Division 7 championship, it's Division 6 Stratford and St. Mary's Springs out of Fond du Lac. And it should be an interesting ball game because Stratford has a 41-game winning streak they're putting on the line to try to win yet another state championship. Trying to three-peat. Another turnover. This one picked off on the interception, and Stevens Point Pacelli has it again, and he's not down yet. Knocked down inside the 25 or the 20-yard line.
There's 2 flags on the play. Actually, there's 3, but in 2 different spots. I think the first flag thrown is for a face mask. Here's the interception. Good protection up front, but he just throws a high ball, and instead of going up and getting the ball, the defensive back comes over and makes a great play on it. Now, we're going to see a little bit of a face mask, I think, coming up right here. Well, maybe not. And then I think we have a personal foul for a late hit just after the play. Not there, but right afterwards. Somebody got hit out of bounds, so we'll see how this shakes out.
And Dan Herzog on the interception.
Both of those going against Pacelli. Those are probably the only 2 things that haven't gone their way today. Let's see if we can see it. Block in the back right here. Oh, well, or it could have been face mask, illegal hands to the face. They're moving though. I mean, no matter what Gilman does, Pacelli's a step ahead of him. They try and come out after a missed field goal. Gilman tries to come out and get a big play right off the bat, change some of the momentum. Instead, they end up giving it right back to Pacelli.
Personal foul and illegal block.
Cody Zach, number 5, we highlighted him in the opener. He's not giving up. Still a lot of time in this game. 6 minutes and 32 seconds left in the first half. Doesn't take long to get back into things, but you got to do something quick.
Well, that's why you play 4 quarters, both halves. I mean, and that's why you take the break. You try to regroup at halftime and try to figure some things out. And we have seen this happen year after year, folks. This one's certainly not over for Gilman.
Another flag. I believe this is going to be holding back towards the line of scrimmage.
Things like this, all of a sudden, penalties start breaking down a team.
Well, exactly. Pacelli's got all the momentum in the world right now. The only thing that's going to stop them is if they stop themselves right now, unless Gilman kicks it up a notch or two. And a good way to do that is start throwing some penalties out there.
Well, and if you're a Gilman Pirate, you're thinking, a couple penalties, push him back, maybe force the turnover, and you're that much closer to the end zone.
Well, look, just on the penalties from the end of the interception return, which was back towards the 25, 20-yard line of Gilman. Now, 2 penalties have moved this football all the way back towards the 21-yard line of Pacelli.
Reardon gets the call, just a couple of yards up to the 22.
That's a 60-yard difference in field position. And that's huge. 60 yards in the football game is a huge amount of ground to cover. And to get it in with 2 penalties, you're giving yourself a great opportunity to get back in the game.
So they go inside the 25 on Gilman's end to inside their own 25 in a matter of seconds. Just under 6 minutes to go here in the first half. Pacelli leads it 22-0. Second down and 21. Reardon gets the call, trying to get up near the 30-yard line. And he'll be marked at the 28. So it's still 3rd down and long.
Nice job of selling the draw. The offensive lineman, get the guys, the rule on a draw is for an offensive lineman, take the defensive lineman where they want to go. So if the guy's going to go to the right, I'm going to take him to the right, but I just can't get beat inside. They open up a nice hole, get some good yardage, but this brings up a 3rd and 16, which Pacelli has shown they can get.
On 3rd down conversions in this game, they've gotten 3 of 5 so far. Heavy rush. That forces Rush out, and he throws the football away.
Joel Colessa, number 3, chases him down from behind.
Number 85, hitter.
See, a couple penalties in a row right there. Gives Gilman a little bit of life. Forces this 4th and long. You're going to see Colessa all the way. Well, he's right there chasing him. He's on his back already. Good job by Rush just getting rid of the ball and not taking the sack.
Defense, that's what it's all about. Got the team numbers on there, and Gilman forces Pacelli into a punting situation. And they should come out of this in perhaps their best field position of the morning so far. That ball rolls inside the 40-yard line, marked down at the 36. And believe it or not, that will be the best field position that Gilman has had at any point of this game.
Well, they need it because they got a lot of ground to cover here. They got to get back. They're 22 down, 4:53 left in the first half. Try and put some points on the board before you go into halftime. Give yourself some momentum going into the locker room. The game's certainly not over by any means, but you need to do something here before the half. You've got the ball.
So Andy Chahar will be in charge of trying to get this offense some points here for the first time in this ball game. A lot of time left in the second quarter, 4:53. Fumble the football, and Pacelli's got it. Went to the big guy, Zach, and the 3rd turnover of the first half for Gilman.
Wow. Best field position in the day, and they give it right back. I mean, this is just how it's gone for him so far in the first half. Little trap play. I didn't catch the number, but Oh, you know who that is? That was number 17, Eric Fix. He scored a touchdown today, has an interception, and sticks an arm right on that ball, and it just scoots out of there. Turnovers and special teams define games, and certainly today they have.
And so the icing on the cake is in an efficient offense, and they've been rather efficient. Rush looking for it all. Finds his man. Herzog inside the 5 and down at the 3-yard line. My goodness, everything going Pacelli's way.
Well, and on this play, the defense back gets beat. He's got his head turned away from the football. He's not even looking because he's running his butt off trying to catch up. So he doesn't know where the ball is, allows Herzog to make an adjustment on it, comes back to the ball and just stops. And kind of go back to my comment before that Pacelli's just, a little bit faster and quicker today.
38-yard pickup to set down first down and goal. And not a whole lot of room to run right there. And with that last pass connection, quarterback Ryan Rush has now set a new Division VII passing record, and he's done it in about a quarter and a half here in this Division VII championship game. And of course, the records we talk about that are being set at all today have to do mostly with whatever division we're playing in right now, not necessarily a championship. So he has 118 yards passing. Oh, we'll check that number for you. Second down and goal. Lobs one into the end zone, and this one too far and incomplete. 165 yards passing. And Herzog has 118 yards receiving already, which is another state record.
Well, if you hadn't watched any of the first half and you just turned on the game without seeing the score, we've got 29 plays for 222 yards for Pacelli, 18 plays for 35 yards for Gilman. I mean, that alone kind of tells you how this half has gone.
And it's all about the turnovers because the time of possession, they're less than 2 minutes apart.
Yeah, and the time of possession isn't going to define this game because Pacelli's had so many big plays.
Yep, you bet.
I mean, so they're moving the ball a lot quicker than Gilman.
Reardon wrapped up on third down and goal. So now fourth down, and Booty back in to try another field goal.
There's the third down play. Zach just shedding a block coming from his linebacker spot. Does a nice job wrapping up, forcing the fourth down.
85-17.
Cody Zach, leading tackler for Gilman, had 30 more tackles than the number 2 man. And again, another 20-yard field goal attempt. This one right in the middle of the field and right between the uprights. So 3 more on the board for Pacelli. And they now grab a 25-0 lead with 3:06 to go here in the first half.
You know, you just saw a shot at Coach Rychek from Pacelli. He's going to have 300 wins if they win this game today. How long do you have to be at a school to get 300 wins? I mean, you'd have to be at a school for 30 years and average 10 wins a year. I mean, he's been there a long time. He's done a great job with this program. Well, certainly got his boys off to a quick start today.
Bob Highland of St. Mary's Springs is the all-time leader with 314, and Milwaukee Marquette's Dick Basham there with 310. So Raychek has a chance to join extreme elite company as only the 3rd coach with 300 or more wins.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, I know both of the other 2 guys from my high school days. Played against both of them. You know, all 3 great coaches in their own right. But 300 victories in high school, that is just a huge, huge number.
Individually, we talked about the state championship records that Herzog and Rush have already put on the boards for receiving yards and passing yards. Herzog, total yards already in this game, 209, including that 47-yard punt return for a touchdown. 44 yards rushing, 118 receiving. Can you do any more than that in one half of football?
I don't know. Let's see. We got
it's not over yet,
left, right? You know, Gilman, plenty of time. This game is not out of reach by any means, but you got to show some life here. You got to do something. Try and get some kind of momentum going into the locker room. I feel like a broken record, but they keep stubbing their foot here.
Well, you have to take advantage of what time is left on the clock as well. And Stevens Point, Pacelli covering very well on special teams. Let's go down to the field and check in with Bob Rayner.
Well, guys, Mother Nature's doing a great job with the sunshine of clearing off the rest of the snow that was swept off here earlier this morning. So the field is in great shape. Now, they just turned the sideline heaters on just a few minutes ago, and the players aren't necessarily huddled around them, but the water boy for Stevens Point Pacelli was just here a little while ago because the water was frozen solid. He's trying to thaw it out so his guys can get a drink. Now, the players might not be in front of this, but there's nothing against sideline guys being in front of this to do reports during the game, is there?
No, not at all. Not when you have a 12-hour day and 4 games.
Thank you. I'll be here if you need me.
Just watch your shoelaces.
I'm not. Should we even admit the fact that it's game 1 and we haven't opened up the windows to our booth up here?
Well, you can. It doesn't bother me any. It's cold. Bob, watch those shoelaces. They've been known to start on fire in front of those. Kickers are notorious for having to replace their shoelaces.
And our thanks to all the guys that are working on the crew, guys and ladies. And I tell you what, it is. We feel for you, but we're staying warm for you up here as well. 13 degrees at kickoff. That is cold. Second down for Gilman. Jahar lets it fly. It's going to be another interception. And this time Herzog's got it. Still on his feet. He races down to the 15-yard line for Pacelli. And with 2:03 to go, Stevens Point Pacelli will be threatening to score again here before the end of the half.
He just throws it up there. There's 2 deep. 2 safeties playing back there trying to stop a play like this. And his receiver doesn't even turn around and look for the ball. I mean, Herzog, that's an easy one.
How much is this cold weather affecting flight of the football, your arm strength? If I don't know, you tell me. Here's the weather right now, 13 degrees.
I don't think that's it. I mean, it doesn't. The cold weather has nothing to do with the receiver turning his head around. I think that they just got to get on the same page.
You don't think that ball was underthrown at all?
No, I don't think the receiver ever expected the ball to be thrown to him.
Well, that would have something to do with it. Wind's rather light right now, but we understand they're supposed to pick up before we're done covering football here. And we've got 4 games for you. This is the first. Another one at 1, another game at 4 o'clock, and then another one this evening at 7. As you see the Badger flags flying here at Camp Randall Stadium. The Badgers get the week off, by the way, before they go to Hawaii. How's that?
Yeah, wouldn't you like to be with them?
How's that for a treat?
Over the Thanksgiving holiday, they'll be out there for 5 days. Coach Alvarez does that every 4 years, so at least every class gets an opportunity to go there once.
Rush back to pass under a heavy rush. And does he eat it or throw it away? He eats it. And the sack for Cody Zack.
Cody coming off the blitz. The running back doesn't step up and get enough of him. He just sheds the block and uses his speed to make the sack. You saw there Rush thought about trying to get rid of the ball, but I think at this point a little smarter decision was to eat that one.
Second down and 34, and we have movement along that line of scrimmage.
It happens. It happens. I think that's, I don't know if you could hear it at home, but that's what they call a hard count. And hopefully the offensive line hears it in the huddle, the call, and understands what's going to happen to the line of scrimmage. It's the hard count is used to draw the defensive line off sides, not the offensive line.
Well, Jacob Porter plays both ways, so you know you can't help that sometimes when you do that you're going to jump.
It happens. It does happen, I'll tell you. You got a lot of stuff going through your head at certain points in football games. Sometimes the snap count isn't on the top of the list.
And Gilman calls a timeout here in the first half with 52 seconds to go. Second down and 39 for Pacelli. Now, if you're Robin Rosemeyer, as a player here, you won a state championship. Granted, that was some time ago, back in '86. He's trying to build up a new tradition here at Gilman. As a player, what do you use experience-wise to try to help out your team, and maybe more so in a situation you're down 25 on the scoreboard?
Well, I think you got to keep your guys motivated in the game, and I think keeping them motivated is the easy part. You got to do something to draw Pacelli out of their ball game because they're doing everything right now. As a former player who's been here, he can shed some light on the experience and what it's like walking on the field prior to getting here. But once that ball's kicked off and the clock starts rolling, it doesn't matter. The players just have to believe they can still win this game, and they got to play better.
Ball back at the 44-yard line, and they have to get down to the 5 to pick up a first down. Rush looking to pass. Throws it across the middle, and it's just short, incomplete. Third down.
Good job by Gilman. They dropped everybody back. They only rushed 2 defensive linemen on this play. They dropped 9 back, and those 9 do a good job not allowing anything to open up. And you'll see this ball just bounce off the carpet just before it gets to his hands.
What are you seeing with Gilman's players right now, offensively and defensively? They're getting turned around or not turning around, if that's the case on offense.
Well, I really think Pacelli's just a faster team right now, and I think that is what happens when a faster team plays a team that's not as fast. Guys get turned around and they're playing catch up. The game's a fast game as it is.
Speaking of speed, Reardon just busts one down to the 21-yard line. Not bad when he had 39 to go for the first down.
To kind of finish that answer, when you go from high school to college, the game changes a lot. Here's the replay on this, and it's a great draw play. And after he breaks that first tackle, he's wide open. But you go from high school to college, and the tempo and the pace of the game speeds up, and it takes you a year or two to get used to that pace. That's why there's not a lot of true freshmen in college that play as true freshmen. And even to the nth degree, college to the pros is a whole other level. So it just takes you some time to get used to those things, get used to the speed. I think Gilman's just a little slower than Pacelli today.
Booty, a 38-yard field goal attempt will be wide and no good.
He's got a good leg. He's just been wide a couple times, but he's certainly hitting the net on the high side.
And there is still 1 tick left to go here in the first half for Gilman. And so everything going Bob Raychick's way for Pacelli. They own a 25-0 lead. And everything that's going right for Pacelli is quite honestly going wrong for Gilman here in the first half. 4 turnovers. They have not been able to advance past their own 36-yard line here in the first half. Just 2 first downs. Final play. Lateral back. And brought down.
Yeah, I think the big thing for Gilman and their coach Rosemeyer to focus on at halftime, they can't do anything else worse. They have to just turn it around and treat this second half as a new game.
Let's check in with Bob Reynard, who's with Pacelli head coach Bob Raychick.
Thank you, Craig. Coach Bob, everything that could have gone right for you went right for you in the first half. You have to be pleased.
Well, for the most part here, but we had the ball a few more times. They're pretty close, and we didn't get in there to score, and that bothered me a little bit. But otherwise, well, we're playing really well.
All right, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
It's all Pacelli in the first half, 25-0 over Gilman. We're coming back with halftime activities from Camp Randall. Pacelli leading Gilman 25-0 here at halftime of the Division VII football championship. This is head coach Robin Rosemeyer of Gilman. And Robin, what'd you tell your guys when it seems like everything just went wrong?
That's exactly what we told them. Everything did go wrong. And we said a lot of times this year, the only team that we think they can beat us is probably ourselves. And that's really what's going on right now. We need to quit turning the ball over. Defensively, we're really not doing too poorly. We're stopping their rush game pretty well. They're making some pass plays that we need to stop. We just got to quit turning the ball over and sustain some drives.
All the best to you in the second half, Robin.
Thank you.
We're coming back with the start of the second half. Gilman and Pacelli in the D7 championship.
Halftime continues. About ready for the third quarter. Pacelli leading 25-0 over Gilman. Let's take a look at the American Family first half stats, and there's some tremendous numbers in favor of the team leading. Of course, that's Pacelli. Only 7 first downs, only 2 for Gilman, but total yards they have dominated with 230. Gilman just 35. The turnovers are been tremendous, as you heard Coach Rosemeyer talked to Bob during the halftime. The 4 turnovers have really put a damper on any kind of a Gilman comeback at this point. And the average yards per play at 7 to 2.3. There's the WIAA key stat of the game. Pacelli 230 total yards. This man Herzog with 209 of those 230. He has done it on punt returns. He has done it receiving. He has done it running the football. A one-man wrecking crew, if you will.
Yeah, he has been, and he's making it look easy, and nothing he's doing looks tough.
He also has an interception return of 29 yards. The WIAA High School Championships on FSN North is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And by Wendy's. Do Wendy's. Do what tastes right. Everybody bundled up here at Camp Randall Stadium for the Division 7 state championship game between Gilman and Pacelli. And you know what? It's not going to get a whole lot warmer as the day progresses. So if you are in the area and headed down, I'm telling you, bring everything you've got for warmth. It's 13 degrees at kickoff for this game, and the temperature hasn't risen hardly at all here as we approached the noon hour in Madison.
Well, and if the wind's supposed to pick up, I'm glad we're in here and not down there where Bob is.
But, you know, and we made this point, though, at the beginning of this game at the top of the broadcast, how much different the weather is compared to all the other games played all fall for any team in the state of Wisconsin.
Yeah, minimum, even in a week, it's a 35-degree difference.
How about that one-handed stab? And now Matt Porter going to go into the end zone for the touchdown. You talk about everything going Pacelli's way. How about that for the old defensive lineman?
Well, we've talked about Jacob Porter, his older brother, and how Jacob leads the state in sacks. But Matt's tired of us talking about his older brother because this is a heck of a play. Sticks that big paw up there. Now this is
unbelievable.
That is a great play to stay with that football. You know, linemen aren't supposed to be able to catch the ball. That's why we put our hands down and duke it out with each other. He gets that big paw up there and looks like a receiver.
Man, oh man.
But, you know, Coach Rosemeyer talked about the turnovers and how they can't have them, and it's just ruining them. First play of the second half, turnover for a touchdown.
So that makes the score 32-0, and Andy Chihar over on the sideline, you just saw. That look on his face kind of explains it all.
It's a defensive lineman's dream. It just falls right back to him.
I'll tell you, I know that's a slow motion look at this, but his hands were both up in the air an awfully long time. I mean, that's just a very, very good defensive play.
Well, as a defensive lineman, you're taught if you can't get to the quarterback to put pressure on him, get your hands up at the last second. You never know when you can knock a pass down. They teach you that at every level. When you're in grade school, Pop Warner, whatever, high school, college, pros, they still teach it in the pros. Get your hands up. The key is to get to the quarterback. If you can't, plan B is get your hands up. And that's exactly why.
So 11:15 to go here, the opening series of the third quarter for Stevens Point Pacelli. And the bubble, you could say, burst right out of that halftime for Gilman. Now what do you have to do? Do you just have to keep saying, hey, just stick with it?
Well, whatever Coach Rosemeyer told him at halftime, you can throw that out the window, because whatever motivation or adrenaline rush he tried to give them at halftime pretty much just got deflated. So hopefully these guys can turn this around somehow, some way. I mean, they worked hard to get here. You hate to go away without a good fight. So I'm sure we'll see some good football.
Booty's got a good leg on him.
There's a huge hole.
Huge hole straight up the middle. Doro still on his horse. Down to the 30. He will go. And finally, Gilman is on the board. And what a return that was. 94 yards. And the Pirates score.
I mean, you could see this play develop right from the beginning. There was a hole 10 feet wide there that they created. Excellent job. It's going to be on the left-hand side. And this hole is right here. And there's nobody there. And he does a good job of cutting back. Herzog, who's done everything for Pacelli today, can't quite make the tackle on this play. And an excellent job by Doro, just running down the sideline, leading the way for Doro. He had a blocker in front of him, disrupting the tacklers, would-be tacklers, I should say. And that's the first sign of life on offense we have seen.
Well, that's how you answer that. That's how you answer the miscue. But here they can't come up with a two-point conversion. And on that return for Jacob Doro, 94 yards in the touchdown. That's a state tournament record, period, for any division, 94 yards.
That's a big return. That was huge. And again, our special teams playing a role. Special teams today, we've seen 12 points scored on it, but one on a punt return and now on a kickoff return. Excellent job by Gilman's front line and second line in front of Doro, creating that lane to run through.
So it's 32-6. And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you need something like that to spark your defense. I mean, because that's what it's going to come down to now. You've got to keep Pacelli off the board.
Well, I'm glad we saw that from Gilman, because honestly, if we didn't see something like that soon, this game is way out of reach. I mean, they got a tough battle ahead of them right now to get back into this, but at least you've seen some life out of them. And that's exactly what you need to do. Now you need to come back, made a big play on offense or on special teams. Now you need to try and get a big play on defense here.
So for the first time today, Gilman kicks off to Pacelli. And little squibblers down at the 35-yard line. So that's where the Cardinals will take over first down and 10 here on their first offensive series. And for more information on Wisconsin's high school sports, visit BadgerStatePreps.com. Wisconsin Preps on the web. And there's, boy, times have certainly changed. We've got FSN Straight Up, a show that's been running all year long on high school sports, weekly show, and previewing championships, covering championship events, and give you some more information on that in a bit too. But on the web, just all kinds of information available for high school sports now.
Yeah, things have certainly changed since we were back in high school, back in the olden days.
Well, I was really old, and if you're old, I'm old in.
Well, I graduated in '92. We didn't have the internet then.
Well, I'm
at
least glad you said that, because now I don't have to say when I graduated.
It wasn't that long ago.
And Gilman's got it. So you get the kickoff return for the touchdown, and now the fumble recovered by Cody Zach.
There's your big play, and they're going to get great field position here on the 32-yard line. Cody Zach, he's been their leader all season. Trying to, look at this, unblocked, disrupts the handoff.
That's a great play.
Rush never had a chance. He got hit with his head turned the other way. Cody does a good job stripping that ball. Here's their opportunity. They can put another touchdown on the board. We got something going here.
On offense, this is the deepest penetration that Gilman has had. And they'll get it at the 32, and just that fast, Pacelli's defense answers. It's Matt Porter on the stop out at the 35-yard line, so loss of a couple.
Yeah, those two Porter brothers in the middle, I mean, they are tough. They're quick. The whole defensive line for Pacelli does a nice job angling. Whatever defensive plays they're calling, they got their guys angling up front to gaps, different gaps, throw the offensive line off. And they're getting free and making tackles behind the line of scrimmage. They've been doing it the whole game.
And no running room there as well, maybe a yard. And it's going to be third down and long. And once again, at Stevens Point defense.
They do a nice job at getting separation, too, to get off the blocks. And what I mean by that is, if I'm wrestling with an offensive lineman, I got to get my arms extended and keep him away from my body and look for the football, so that when that ball comes to my area, I can shed that would-be blocker and make that tackle.
Dan Lemanchik on the stop for the Cardinals. Third down and 13 for Gilman at the 35-yard line of Pacelli. Heavy rush. This one might be picked off, and it is. And with the football, Eric Fix. Will he have the speed? He will. He should score inside the 10, and a touchdown for Stevens Point Pacelli.
Yeah, that's too bad, because just when you think Gilman's getting it back going, they have a couple big plays. They put a touchdown on the board. Chahar, the quarterback, doesn't have any time to throw this football, and he gets hit just as he's putting it up in the air. Here's the blitz. He has to get rid of it. And unfortunately, it hits his arm as he's throwing it. And for Pacelli, they had 6 more just like that. I mean, they're putting points on the board quick in this game and not giving Gilman a lot of opportunity to catch up. So turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. You hear coaches talk about it all the time, and that's why they define games.
So the extra point makes it 39-6. All Stevens Point Pacelli. The WIAA High School Championships on FSN North is presented by Cenex CHS, resources for enriching lives. Back at Camp Randall Stadium, we saw the Stevens Point fans. We want to shout out to Cindy up at Stevens Point Pacelli. She's, what we understand, the only person left at the school. She's keeping it open today.
She's a trooper.
She held.
She's missing a big game here.
She helped us. Well, she's watching on TV. That's why she's getting a big hello. She helped us out on one of many at all the high schools on pronunciations. We want to make sure we always get the kids' names right. And to be honest with you, most of the administrative assistants helped us out with that along the way, because they follow these football teams and all the sports programs so closely. And the flag comes flying in late. You're right, Jamie.
It's away from where the ball was, so maybe it's a holding on a block. But it's a good 10 yards away from the ball.
And it's against the Pirates. They have, for the most part, been staring down a long field here at Camp Randall Stadium. As you look at Robin Rosemeyer, the head coach, much different than when he was a player back in 1986. The only other appearance for Gilman at the state championship. He helped win it along with his brother. And let's check in with Bob at the sidelines, who has more on that story.
Yeah, Craig, and when you say his brother, you have to be very specific, because Rodney was the quarterback of that 86 team when he came down with Robin, and Gilman won the title. There are 7 Rosemeyer boys in all, and all of them very active in sports, all good athletes, and now all carrying on in sports and other capacities. His brother Pat is an official. Dean is a coach at Eau Claire North. Jeff is the coach at Colby High School, and Jeff, by the way, won the state title over Random Lake back in 1998. And Rodney, who was the quarterback of this team in 86, he's a coach at Durand High School. So if you call for a Rosemeyer, make sure you give the first name as well. And of course, his nephew is out there catching balls. I've already talked about him. So much more, so many more connections to talk about as the game progresses.
Yeah, well, this is good. And you talked about the fact that all the brothers in the Rosemeyer family, there's 3 sets of brothers on this Gilman team alone. So, I mean, that again goes to show you, small town Wisconsin, if you will, hometown Wisconsin, everyone pooling in together. And it's really such a family affair, isn't it, Jamie?
Yeah, and to make it to state and have an opportunity to win a state championship, whatever division, is such a neat thing for those areas. That could be the biggest things that's happened to that high school in years. And this is definitely something, win or lose, both teams will remember forever.
3rd down. And Trevor Rosemeyer talked about the Rosemeyers.
Yeah, and Pacelli, again, they're showing it on this drive. They are just fundamentally sound. They do a great job of playing their responsibilities, shedding tacklers, keeping blockers off their linebackers to make plays. And this defensive line, they are good, because most of the time defensive lines are there to keep the offensive linemen off the linebackers to make the plays. Not with this defense. These guys make plays up front.
Joe Colessa there to punt. And fielding the ball at the 40-yard line for Stevens Point. Scott Herzog, his team will take over there when we come back. Midway through the third quarter of our Division 7 championship game, Pacelli leading Gilman 39-6. When We Were Young Productions, the official videographer of the WIAA. To purchase a DVD copy of any of this year's state championship events, please visit prepfilms.com. Cost for the DVD $39.95 plus shipping and handling, and you can see some of the crew from When We Were Young Productions down on the field. How do you compare it to anything but NFL films? It's the NFL films version here in the state of Wisconsin, and boy, do they do a bang-up job. And I don't mean just football, folks, any of the state championships, just quality work.
Yeah, I will say that I did get an opportunity to watch the highlights last year when they played them over the Thanksgiving holiday, and I was jealous that we didn't have something like that back when I was in high school, because they do an absolutely great job. The only, the difference is the names aren't as big as they are when they get to the NFL, the NFL films people. But I mean, other than that, it is awesome.
Yep, they've got a ton of people out there working, and all the cameras, and you can watch all of those specials, an hour for each division. They'll run consecutively on Christmas Day. So if you're giving up on the Pack on Christmas Day, don't give up on your high school team.
Yeah, it's
I'm not telling you what to do on Christmas Day.
I don't know what the cost is, but whatever it is, it's worth it, because
$39.95. It's worth it.
If I was in high school, I would definitely take advantage of it. And I'm not here to sell anything. I'm just telling you what I think.
Well, I know. I mean, it's great stuff. And that show, by the way, that each production, FSN Straight Up, special edition on Christmas Day. And we're proud to be in association with When We Were Young Productions. You've seen a lot of the weekly shows straight up, strictly on high school sports on FSN North. Got some movement across the line there. Looks like defense.
And that'll give them a first down, an automatic first down. High school football, you break that plane, that neutral zone. As a defensive lineman, you break that neutral zone, and it's an auto. They don't give you the opportunity to get back. You break it once, you're done, and it's a 5-yard penalty.
That's enough for our Randall first down.
To kind of give you an idea of what Pacelli's done today, they've had 6 turnovers today that they have taken away from Gilman, plus a punt return for a touchdown. If you combine the punt return with the 6 turnovers and the points they've gotten, 24 points off turnovers today. They set up a nice screenplay here.
Herzog still on his feet. Look at him cut back inside the 20 and another first down.
Excellent job, Herzog. He's done a nice job all day of waiting for his blockers and allowing it to develop. Pacelli does a good job of selling this, and Herzog just kind of stops and slows down and cuts it back against the grain and lets his offensive lineman get ahead of him and throw those blocks. He's got good vision, good patience, runs hard. He's got good hands. We've seen that too. He's a nice player.
First down from the 16. A couple of more yards. Reardon straight ahead. And today's official on the field is also a coach. There's Pat Hammonds of Eau Claire North. He's the basketball coach, long time. And how about doubling up for a little extra paycheck in the fall?
Well, you got to do something in the fall, right? all your basketball players are out there playing football.
I'll tell you what he doesn't want to be doing is officiating in the basketball tournament. He wants to bring his team down. Many trips down for Eau Claire North. How about more from Bob Raynor?
Yeah, you got it right. You got it right, guys. Pat Hammond is still the basketball coach of the Eau Claire North Huskies. In fact, he's missing the beginning of basketball season, and he's going to miss another week because this crew has to go out and do Division II football out in the Dakotas. Included on the crew is Casey Eckert. He's the baseball coach at Eau Claire Memorial, so these guys got a lot more football to go after this game today.
How about that? A basketball coach missing the beginning of his season to officiate football. That might be a first.
Yeah, you hear of players missing the beginning of seasons, but that's the first for me hearing a coach is going to.
And we have another flag. Pat knows we're talking about him. This one is going to go against Pacelli.
Yeah,
Pat's a great guy, and he has done as we pump up television coverage of the high school events, he's done a great job filling as the color commentator for many of the boys' basketball tournament games seen throughout the state of Wisconsin.
Holding call on Pacelli, drives him back 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
Third and 19 from the 25. Rush under pressure, and another flag comes flying in.
That's for holding on the left tackle or tight end, whoever's the top man on the end of the line of scrimmage. But I think they'll decline this because of the sack. Nice job. Gilman stepped it up here the last couple plays. You'll see it right from this pressure right here. It's just going to run around the block. The left tackle goes too flat down the line of scrimmage. He's got to, when he goes back into his pass set, he's got to get some depth. So when he kicks back, like a shot putter or definitely a shot putter, when he kicks back, he's got to lose some ground instead of going so far out to the side so quickly. He didn't take a very good angle, and that's why he got ran around and beat for the sack.
How about this field goal attempt from the 36-yard line, a 46-yard attempt for Brad Booty. And this one, well short.
Yeah, that didn't look like a normal booty kick. Usually his are pretty good. He usually misses wide, but that looked like a shank.
Well, this week it's a college football quadruple header, beginning with the College Football Saturday kickoff show presented by Kyocera. That Oklahoma takes on 19th ranked Texas Tech. Washington State battles Washington. That in-state rivals collide as Oregon State battles 10th ranked Oregon, followed by 16th ranked Fresno State looking to upset number 1 ranked USC. It all begins at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, only on FSN North. A quadruple header. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
It's a long day.
At least in one promo. That makes the promo quadruply long. Right over the middle. And a first down for Gilman.
You know, I like the play call because it's a short pass that turns into a big play. Instead of trying to get a big hit through the air right away by throwing a 20-30 yard pass, this time they just dump it right over the middle. Ends up being about a 10-yard catch. And then he picks up another, 12, 13 yards after the catch. Excellent job. Good play call.
And there he goes, Cody Zack, pounding for some extra yardage. I just got yelled at by Liz Fors, our producer, and I said I've never seen a quadruple header. Of course, we're doing one today.
Yes.
I of course, meant high school. Versus college. So, didn't I, Liz?
For the 5th year in a row, aren't we?
At least 5.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I look forward to this every year. And it's good that you and I and Bob can all get together with our crew. And it's a marathon, folks, but we enjoy it, and we hope you're enjoying it too. Pass almost hauled in. Great effort out there by Trevor Rosemeyer.
A couple people had an opportunity to make that catch. One, Trevor had an opportunity, but then Pacelli also had an opportunity to intercept that pass.
2:37 to go here in the third quarter. 39-6 Pacelli. They have really put on a display in all phases of the game and just about any aspect that you can think of.
Yeah, they've been firing on all cylinders today, that's for sure. Coach Rychek had him ready. I mean, he's trying to get this is a big, if they win this game, which at this point, unless something changes dramatically, they're going to. He'll win his 300th game. That's a big marker in a coach's career.
Well, it's something, and on the call on Sunday with the coaches, he was asked, how much the players have talked about that, or how much incentive that they want to send this longtime coach to that big milestone. And of course, he said, you know what, if they're talking about it, I'm not hearing about it. We're not making a big deal about it at all, because the bottom line is going out there and winning, enjoying time, coming home with the state championship. and everything else for this man has fallen into place over time.
Yeah, I think winning that 300th game is secondary, definitely, to bringing home the state championship. Fortunately for them, they just happen to fall in the same game. I don't know of a coach out there that would get in front of his team and stand up there and go, "You rah, win my 300th game." That's not how coaches are. But there's the list, and that is a Hall of Fame type list right there.
And we're going to see another living legend in Bob Highland here in the next game. Let's check in with our own legend, Bob.
Gee, thanks a lot, Craig. Jamie, you were asking how a coach, how long he has to be around to get 300 victories. Well, this is 40th year coaching at Pacelli, 45 years in all coaching high school football. How about that? And another number to throw at you guys. Bob has coached over 2,000 football players in his career. He's been a head coach at Pacelli in football, track, wrestling, and hockey. And if this isn't enough, he's still a substitute teacher from time to time at Pacelli, just to stay in touch with the kids at the school.
Yeah, you think he's influenced a few students' lives?
I'll bet you could rattle off just about every name, too. 1st and 10 for Gilman. Pass complete. Looking for some positive yards. And Jacob Doro does the trick.
Gilman's doing a nice job. They're moving the ball here on this drive, mixing it up. We've seen them pass the ball a few times. Offensive line does a good job picking up the protection. Instead of dropping their quarterback straight back, now they decide to roll him out a little bit to give him a little extra time. Nice first down call.
Picked up 5. Pitch back. It's a fumble recovered by Pacelli. Boy, oh boy, another turnover for Gilman. That'll be number 7 in this game.
Well, Gilman's trying everything right now. Jed Shemrai is a new quarterback. He's running the offense here. Nope, I apologize. Rosemeyer's running the offense. And he's got to sell that fake. He's got to sell that option. On that play, he probably should have tucked it under his arm and ran it upfield himself. But then when you pitch the ball, you got to watch where you're pitching it. Lots of things have to go right to run an option offense.
Pacelli sticks to the passing game. Fix with a nice move, picking up the first down at the 40-yard line of the Pirates.
Yeah, and I think that play right there kind of tells you how the day's gone for this Gilman defense. Nice job, quick pass, get the ball to your playmaker's hands. Whoop. A little bit of a juke move there, and picks up a first down. But I think right there kind of defines how the day's gone for the Gilman defense. Pacelli's just been a little bit quicker than they have.
This time to the ground game. And knocked out of bounds near the 16-yard line. Herzog again, I should say Reardon. So some big plays. They open up with the pass and then come up with another big run from Reardon.
Excellent job, offensive line. Look at the movement they've got. They've got that defensive line pushed up the field 6-7 yards off the ball. Greg, you and I could run behind that offensive line if they did that on every play.
You think I could actually accomplish that?
Well, you probably run better than I do at this point.
What about that? You've dated yourself. I don't want to go back that far. Reardon, look at him elude the tacklers, trying to get inside the 10-yard line. And does. Just shy of the first down, so it'll be 2nd down and short. 7 turnovers on the day for Gilman, and how many points has that turned out to be?
Yeah, and I'm going to add 7 more points on that for that punt return, because anytime you punt the ball away, you do not expect to give up points on that play. So I'm going to add 7 more and say it's 24-0.
Herzog. Very close to a first down. Looks like he may have picked up another. If so, it'd be 1st down and goal. And they may bring in the chain gang here. And it's going to be close enough for measurement. 3 seconds to go in the third quarter. At first unit for Pacelli stays on the field, up 39-6. And they would like nothing more than to cap off the third quarter with another touchdown. And it is a first down. So first and goal for the Cardinals. Trying to win their first WIAA state championship. They've got 2 in the books from their days at WISA.
You know, and looking back at that list of coaches for the 300 victories plus, and Coach Rychek out obviously trying to get that today. Those are all old WISA coaches. Just, you know, those guys have been around a long time, and now they're all part of the WIAA. It just kind of tells you how good everything is right now.
Going back for the fourth quarter in just a moment. Start of the fourth quarter here at Camp Randall Stadium, Division 7 championship between Pacelli and Gilman, and right now the Cardinals in command and a chance to add more onto the scoreboard. That first unit stays on the field for Stevens Point. Herzog gets the carry. He's stacked up at the 4-yard line, so it'll be second down and goal from there. Make it to 3.
It's been a nice drive by Pacelli. They got the ball back off the turnover, off the fumbled option, and they've just kind of chunked it out here. They haven't. This hasn't been how they've scored today. They've been putting up points with big plays, and today, or I should say on this drive, they're just kind of chunking it out, eating up some clock.
Herzog gets the call and again is wrapped up.
Matt Bach, number 22, one of the senior captains for Gilman, running through the offensive line, making that play in the backfield.
Makes it third and goal from the 4-yard line.
So from the 4, it'll be third down and goal. Ryan Rush, the senior quarterback, trots back into that huddle after getting the play from the sideline. Herzog and Reardon in the backfield. The pitch back, low to the ground, but picked up by Reardon. It's a foot race to the end zone, dives and scores.
There's a flag down on the play. See what the call is.
Right on the line of scrimmage. And this one is coming back. It's against the Cardinals.
See if we can see it on the right side of the screen. Cody Zock gets through there. A little bit of a hole. Just a little bit. Typically when you pull a guy in the opposite direction of which way his momentum's going, that's they're going to get you.
8 penalties for 84 yards for Pacelli. Most of that's really been over the last 2 quarters. They had a very clean start to this game. But the penalties well after a big lead put on the scoreboard already, so it really hasn't affected Pacelli a whole lot at all. So try it again. Third down and goal from the 15. Rush. Throws complete. And another flag right at the 5-yard line. A couple of them come in.
Now the way those flags are coming in, it looks like that could be defensive pass interference or defensive holding, which is going to give Pacelli an automatic first down.
It would be fourth down there. Here's the call from Pat Hammond. And it is against that defense.
Against the Pirates.
Good pressure up front, forces him out of the pocket. This is a tough throw right here. Running left, you're a right-handed quarterback, and you throw right across the field. Don't get to see the holding or the pass interference there.
Could have been right on the defender on the receiver who made the catch. He was pretty well wrapped up on the catch.
Well, that's where they threw the flag, so I assume that's where it was.
So an automatic first down. And instead of, well, let's see where they mark the ball. It's going to be first down and goal. And they'll mark it at the 7.
Pacelli penalty makes it a first down, first and goal
7-yard line.
292 yards passing for Rush today. Straight up the gut, touchdown. It's Reardon on the score for Stevens Point Pacelli. And they are well on their way to their first WIAA state championship and their third state championship overall.
Reardon with this carry, 81 yards, second touchdown of the day. Nice job avoiding a tackler in the hole, a little bit of a cutback inside. Good job of blocking up front, makes one guy miss, and that's what the coaches tell you. If I'm a ball carrier, I got to make a guy miss. One-on-one, I cannot lose, and that time he did not. Puts up 6 points, and now the 7th.
Booty's kick is good.
Extra point is good by Booty. And that extends the lead now to 46-6. They've opened up a 40-point lead. And when they get this ball kicked off again, that will kickstart the clock into a running mode. And speaking of getting going, a great start for the Milwaukee Bucks on the season so far. And we've got more action here coming up on FSN North tomorrow night. Jim Paskey, John McLaughlin out on the West Coast as the Bucks get set to take on the Sacramento Kings. They had a big win last night in Oakland over the Golden State Warriors. That broke a, I believe it was 17-game Western road trip loss for the Bucks dating back 2 seasons. Didn't win a game out there all last year. So they're off to a 5-2 start now.
Well, you obviously have a lot more knowledge on the Bucks than I do, with as much as you cover them. But I mean, they're a fun team to watch. TJ Ford, they get him back. Bogut.
Yep.
You know how we were talking earlier. That's like having 2 first-round picks this year.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's. I'm not a big basketball fan, but they are fun to watch.
Well, you know a lot about the Bucks for not being a basketball fan, though. So that means that if you're average Joe Wisconsin, a lot of people are watching this year. So that's good.
I mean, I'm the type of guy that doesn't go to the game. Doesn't go to a game unless I'm invited, usually by somebody.
In a suite?
Well, no, I don't like suites because you don't end up seeing the game. All you do is eat, drink, and talk. You wonder what happened at the end.
Doro's got it for Gilman on the return. Looking for a little bit of running room. Has him up to the 32-yard line. So that's where Gilman will take over. First down at 10 as the clock continues to roll now. 10-10 to go here in the ball game. Jacob Doro, the junior, will have a chance to return to this Gilman team and try to make some things happen for next year. Sometimes losing a state championship game and getting a chance to come back provides your team that incentive right off the top. You start talking about it right at the end of the game.
Yeah, you get started on your off season right away. There's no break. For a lot of these kids, they'll roll right into basketball and wrestling and some other sports. But I guarantee you, if they're coming back for a senior year next year, they're going to be thinking about it at the end of the game today.
Marco Lanichik on the reception from the pass from Andy Chahar. First down at the 43-yard line. Not a whole lot of room there up to the 45-yard line. This is the first of 4 games today and 3 more to come tomorrow here on FSN North in the WIAA State Championships. Division 6 is coming up next.
Watch this. Watch the defensive line jumping back and forth and back and forth. What that does is it forces the offensive line to make an adjustment right before the snap of the ball. That is Jacob Porter, number 65, getting into the backfield, disrupting plays before they have an opportunity to develop. That is why Pacelli has dominated this game today, because they've just been quicker, faster, and hungrier than Gilman.
Good strong run there for Jacob Doro. Picks up a, well, real close. I thought he had the first down, but they're going to mark him just shy, so it's 3rd down and short from the 47-yard line of Stevens Point Pacelli. Cody Zack loses the football. Jahar picks it up, and it's going to be a big loss, however, back into Gilman territory. And instead of 3rd and about a foot, it's going to be 4th down and about 6.
Good blocking up front. He's got 2 hands on it. Number 52 for Pacelli. Eric Wimmy does a nice job of stripping that football. And if it's not for Jahar getting on the football, Pacelli would be going the other way again. You know, every time Gilman gets something going, they drop the ball, fumble the ball, take away their momentum.
Pass complete, and enough for the 1st down. And Doro's got it.
Number 29, Jacob Doro.
Nice job by Jacob concentrating on this football. One of the hardest things to do is when a defensive back cuts in front of you right as the ball's coming, you get your hand on it. Look at that, bobbling, sticking with it. We all know how football doesn't want to bounce up and down like a basketball, so you never know where it's going to go. Great job of concentrating, picking up that 1st down.
And movement on that line of scrimmage. I saw the defense move a little bit. Did the offense flinch?
I don't believe so. I think Jahar, he's using a hard count trying to draw those guys off sides. I think what you're seeing from Pacelli is they're starting to rotate in some guys who don't play as much as the starters do. And he's got some newer guys in there. Adrenaline's rushing. They're still trying to get in for their first few plays, and they just happen to jump off sides, go with that hard count. You know, a quarterback with a hard count can really draw those guys off sides. I mean, you see it on TV all the time in college and in the pros.
Another nice run right up the middle. And this one for Matt Bach. Clock continues to run, under 6 minutes to go. Just over 100 total yards offense for Gilman in this game. 57 rushing and 60 passing. So that turnover situation, they've coughed the football up 7 times, and give credit to that Pacelli defense. They have stopped anything that Gilman has tried to do. The only score that Gilman has put on the board has been on a 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah, otherwise it's been plays like we just saw. Number 78, John Hebda, you see him right here, does an excellent job. He's playing right defensive end, and he does a good job of stretching the play out down the sideline on the line of scrimmage. Ends up wrapping up the ball carrier and making a tackle for loss. You know, doesn't matter who's in the game for Pacelli right now. They've been able to defensively stop Gilman.
11 north off, all northwest.
2nd down and long from the 30. You can hear that hard count on our microphones. Wide open to Rosemeyer and overthrown.
You know, and that's the difference. Pacelli in the 1st half especially was able to connect on those big pass plays like that. You got a guy beat, you got an opportunity to make a catch. Quarterback throws a nice ball. On the other side here, Gilman gets the opportunity, and the ball's just a little too far out ahead of him. You got your man beat. Nice route. Out and up. Down the sideline. It's just a little too far out there. Sometimes it's not your day.
Well, that's about all you really can say. It is or it isn't sometimes, and it hasn't been for Gilman. However, look at this. A touchdown and a nice pass for Joe Kalesa.
Nice job coming across the middle. Gilman up front has done a nice job on this drive blocking. Here's the play again. They're going to roll him out. He just goes right down the middle. He's playing tight end, and he just gets up the field and across, gets to the numbers, and he's gone. Wanted to spike that one, you could tell.
He was thinking about it. Said, hey, I'm running in. I scored a touchdown at Camp Randall Stadium.
Why not?
Pitch back, 2-point conversion is there, so Gilman gets within 46-14. 4:11 to go. And we'll step aside and come back in just a moment.
Gilman gets on the board, but Joel Kalesa of Gilman gets a poke in the eye. He's okay, though. 46-14 the score, Pacelli over Gilman. Well, guys, we talked about the storied tradition of Pacelli football in the 40 years under head coach Bob Raychek. One of the guys who played football for Coach Bob was a basketball player. I think you know him. Brad Soderberg, former Badgers basketball coach, now the head coach at St. Louis University. Brad, even though he was kind of undersized, was quite the player here at Pacelli. He was a quarterback and defensive back, and he got so much respect from the area coaches that they named him the back of the year as a junior and a senior. Brad Soderberg said that football was my favorite sport when I was in high school. I loved the contact, and I loved the Friday nights. And once he learned to love the contact, he went to work for Dick Bennett, where contact is what it's all about, even on the basketball court.
Well, it sure is. Got to play that defense out there. Good story, Bob. Thanks very much. And, Brad Soderberg played college basketball at Stevens Point as well with Terry Porter. They were teammates. So, fumble the football.
One-man wrecking crew, Jody Trewicki. He's the nose guard. He comes right up the middle, swims the center, disrupts the handoff, hits the running back, and falls on top of the ball.
Did the ball ever hit the ground?
The only other thing he could have done in that play is call it.
Look at him down there.
Excellent job.
Excellent effort.
It's a little hardware.
There's the goal ball.
That's what it's about.
4:04 to go. Gilman fresh off a touchdown. Trying to keep things going. And they'll rule that incomplete. As he tried to hit Cody Zack. Jahar will come back in. See a little rotation of the quarterbacks here in the second half between Jahar and Trevor Rosemeyer. Rosemeyer, sophomore.
Well, Rosemeyer did a nice job on that a couple drives ago, running the offense until they had that option fumble. But he was moving the ball, so try them both.
And another interception, Jamie.
Interception, and there's a flag on the play. The only thing that can save this for Gilman is if this is a defensive penalty. But, you know, and that's what it is. So this will come back and give Gilman another opportunity. But, you know, Gilman's just been sloppy with the football all day. And obviously it's cost him. Let's see if we can find this penalty. Well, you know, I didn't see it other than contact past 5 yards, but I mean, that's, I don't know, pretty ticky-tack. So Gilman gets the ball back. They have an opportunity. They'll mark off the yards after the penalty, so they get it at the Pacelli 35.
Pacelli has already forced a Division VII championship record, 7 turnovers. That could have been 8. That's not what Gilman wanted to come to state to do, is to give the ball away, but that was a problem from the beginning. And so is this big heavy rush, and brought down by a host of Pacelli players.
Yeah, it's never a good sign when you're a quarterback and you got 5 of the other guys around you as soon as you look up.
The number 2 ranked team in the nation returns to the Kohl Center this weekend. The Wisconsin Badgers hockey team takes on Minnesota State as the Badgers look to stay unbeaten in WCHA play. Catch all the action Saturday starting at 7 right here on FSN North. Badgers with that Saturday-Sunday rare series over the weekend. This ball tipped and still complete. Doro's got it. First down, still on his feet. Fights down to the 10-yard line before he's brought down there. And that'll be a first down and goal, looks like, for Gilman.
Yeah, you can see Gilman. They obviously can do some things well. They're here. They made it here. They beat a lot of teams to get here. They just had a struggle in the first half, but in the second half they have really shown some glimpses of what this team's capable of doing, and this is just another good play. A middle screen. Ball gets tipped. Doral concentrates and stays with it. Gets a couple blocks downfield. Nice play. Ball's at the 10-yard line.
When Gilman snaps this ball, they'll have as many plays run in this game as Pacelli here at 49. This one good for the touchdown for Trevor Rosmeyer. He's done a lot of things offensively. Quarterback, running back, receiver. This time he runs in for 6.
It really was a nice run. They pitch it to him, try and get him to the outside. Offense does a good job of sealing up the middle, creating that hole for him to run through, and then he makes a couple guys miss in the hole. Here's the play. Get it out to him quick. A nice kick out block. 1, 2. Running through 3 arm tackles.
And now to try for the 2-point conversion. Jahar looks to pass. Corner of the end zone, and it is dropped incomplete by Oladipo. 46-20 our score. 2:35 to go in the ball game. Pacelli leading 46-20 over Gilman here in the Division 7 state championship game. Coming up 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game, Division 6, it's St. Mary's Springs out of Fond du Lac against Stratford, and Stratford trying to keep a winning streak alive that is 41 games. Seniors have never lost. Can you imagine that?
No.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
I wish I could, but I honestly no, I can't imagine that.
All right, that's that.
Yeah. There aren't too many kids out there who have ever been able to say that. So I mean, that is.
Oh, you're right.
You know, in high school football, that you could almost call that a dynasty.
I would let that one go as a dynasty for sure.
Yeah, I mean
that's, you know, and to be able to have a chance, and if they do finish it off, to say you never lost in 4 years, and you won all those championships going for 3 straight.
It's a huge statement. You know, the other part of that is when you talk to their coach, most of their games, their number 2s are in by halftime.
Right.
So. You know, the other part of that is if they get in a close game, if St. Mary's Springs can play tough, keep it a close game, who's got the edge?
Well, there's an interesting storyline there, as Ben Porter carried that football, and quarterbacking right now Dan Herzog for Pacelli. The interesting storyline there is you've got a powerhouse in Stratford who's won 41 straight, looking for the three-peat in the state championship, and St. Mary's Springs comes in and literally in the regular season won 3 games on the field, had their 4th win on a forfeit, and made the playoffs with a 4-5 record, which is you can do, but to be able to make the run that they did during the postseason to get to a championship, no other team has been able to do that before with a losing record.
No, and it's all about teams getting hot at the right time, and if you got the momentum coming into today, anything can happen, whether you got 4 wins or 12 wins. So it should be interesting. Nice job by Gilman's defense. Stepping up, getting across the line of scrimmage, playing on the Pacelli side of the line, meaning getting penetration and causing that TFL, tackle for loss. Officials timeout. Equipment timeout.
53 seconds to go for Stevens Point Pacelli to wrap up their first WIAA championship.
Got some guys for Gilman running in and out, trying to make sure everybody hits the field.
Herzog on the run. And you got to go to the brother Scott for our Milk Marketing Board Player of the Game. Scott Herzog called his name all over the field in this ball game. 260 total yards, a punt return for a touchdown, an interception, He ran the football well, rushing for 53 yards, had 131 receiving, a 29-yard interception return, and what a game for Scott Herzog and Stevens Point Pacelli.
Yes, I mean, Scott Herzog broke this game open for this team with a couple big plays early. Pacelli fed off the momentum and just kind of, ended this game in the first half, truthfully. Gilman's shown some life here in the second half and made a game of it, but Pacelli's really never been out of control of this game since early in the first quarter. They just, it's all about luck sometimes and skill, that's great too, but the ball bounced Pacelli's way today.
Well, they made some things happen and they took advantage of some opportunities. Nicely thrown ball straight downfield, nearly intercepted and then nearly caught.
Yeah, nice
by
job.
Rosemeyer.
Rosemeyer does a great job of actually becoming the defensive back on this play, because Pacelli's cornerback, you're going to see him, is just sitting here waiting for the ball. Rosemeyer does a good job of just breaking that play up. Otherwise, we'd have 8 turnovers. Gilman, excellent job this year getting to this point. They had a nice turnaround this season.
That ball loose on the ground again.
It was a fumbled exchange. Fumbled snap, covered by Pacelli. And I would think we're going to see a knee taken by Pacelli, and this will be Coach Rychek's 300th victory. Here's the fumbled exchange.
Well, this 8th turnover, Jamie, ties an old division state tournament record for most turnovers. 8 in one game.
Well, I don't know of a team in any division.
Recover from that.
No, I was going to say, I don't know of a team in any division at any level that can recover from 8 turnovers. You cannot give up the ball 8 times and expect to win a game. If you do, I'd like to see the team you're playing, but it's almost impossible.
And there's Coach Rychek, and those might be $300 bills they've got out there. Little pieces of paper with 300 saluting his 300th victory. And the final 10 seconds will tick away, and number 300 for the head coach, only the 3rd coach in state high school history to reach the 300 plateau victory mark. And congratulations to Stevens Point Pacelli. And there's Robin Rosemeyer waving across the way, the head coach at Gilman. Congratulations to the Pirates, too, on a fine season. But Pacelli will take the gold home to Stevens Point here in the Division 7 state championship, 46-20. A final word from Madison in just a moment. Well, it was a well-contested game in Division 7, but Stevens Point Pacelli had a little too much for Gilman here in the Division 7 state championship game, getting off to a good start and taking advantage of a total of 8 turnovers in this game and going on to win this one 46-20. Stevens Point Pacelli over Gilman in the Division 7 state championship game. Stay tuned in 30 minutes, Division 6. It's St. Mary's Springs and Stratford here on FSN North.